should be live. So
Let's go.
yeah, finally. That was a eventful race weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, very.
Yep. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Obviously, going over the predictions as well. And yep, let's start with your general thoughts over the weekend.
I think it was a very interesting race. Like Leclerc and Hamilton both disqualified. Like Sargent, because of that, he got his first points in US, which was pretty cool. McLaren did pretty well, which I'm happy about. You know, of course, Red Bull too. Perez didn't do horribly, which not everyone thought, but like,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool to see.
You almost got a point for Perez in P5, but unfortunately, yep, disqualification.
Yeah, that the disqualification did kind of screw me over.
Yep. Okay. I think you summed it up pretty well. Obviously, we're gonna talk about the disqualifications when we're like discussing the race itself. We got a sprint weekend, and obviously we got quali, sprint, pole, sprint win, stuff. So, yeah. From my POV, very interesting weekend. I love this track. Like I said during the predictions as well. It's one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, and I really was looking forward to this Grand Prix. Even though we didn't get much of a interesting sprint race, I think the race itself was pretty interesting, and quali was really good, as it is this season, as it seems always. Anyway, yep, let's kind of go to quali first, because we got Saturday as sprints, so quali. Okay. Yeah, we all got Max and pole. In reality, it was Charles Leclerc, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
Just making sure it wasn't a sprint. Sprint was pole by Max. So yeah, this was the one when Max got pole by like 5,000 of a second and got a lap time deleted. Yep, that was a costly mistake in the second last turn, I think. Went under the track limits and got this lap time deleted. Dropped out of P6, still outqualified Perez, because Perez is Perez, and yep.
Yeah.
Okay, no points for us here, which is I'm not against anything that's other than Max, because either we get the points or either we get interesting sessions. So it's like a win-win situation.
I mean, most of the time we get the points, so I think it's worth it.
Yep. All right. P2 and reality was Lando Norris. Obviously, due to the lap time deleted, which obviously was canon. So I got a point somehow. I'm kind of happy about it, even though McLaren didn't seem as quick this weekend as I hoped for. Yeah, Norris still got P2 in the sprint, in the quali and the race itself. Sprint was, I think, P4. Yeah, good weekend by Norris. Russell had a really off weekend. AJ didn't really get a point here, and you got Piastri, who, as well as Russell, seemed a bit off pace the entire weekend.
Yeah, it was kind of sad to see.
I don't really know what caused the lack of pace between Mercedes and McLaren drivers. I know Piastri had some damage during the race, and then DNF probably was the cause of not being too quick. And in the sprint race itself, I think he had damage as well. I don't know, but Russell seemed kind of slow this weekend compared to Hamilton. Hamilton was legit the fastest driver probably over the entire weekend, which was really exciting to see.
It was pretty insane.
Yep.
Except for the disqualification.
We're gonna talk about it. It's a whole nother topic. Yeah. Okay. Coming to P3, which in reality was, I think it was
Hamilton.
Was it Hamilton? Yeah, it was.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
yeah, so I got another point, which is, I'm not against it.
Mm.
You both went for Norris, obviously got B2, so lucky points for me here. Because in reality, if Max didn't go over the track limits, he would have gotten P1, therefore Norris would end up in P3, but luckily I was pretty lucky with the disqualifications in the weekend.
Yeah, you did get quite a few there.
Yep. Alright, moving on to the second part, second row. P4 in quali was, actually don't remember who was P4. Like Ferrari, I think Sainz. Was it Sainz?
I can't remember. Let me check.
I think it was Sainz because Russell was P5. Had to be Sainz.
Then yeah, it probably is Science, but
I mean, none of us get the point anyway, but probably Sainz. Actually, I don't remember the quali itself.
well, it was none of the ones we put.
Yeah, obviously. Piastri was down in P10, and Hamilton only. Oh, not only, but got third. Obviously, we knew he had pace for pole position and the win, which obviously is gonna be a talking topic. Anyway, no points for here. And P5 in reality was none other than George Russell, so another point for me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, this is a good start. I actually thought about this after the quali itself on Friday. Actually, I think it was Saturday at that point because quali was like at 11 p.m. for me, so you as well, obviously. So it was Saturday when I found out that I got 3 points, and if you got any, which is interesting. Also, yep, you got Perez, who obviously got into Q3, but not quite the top 5 because Perez. And Piastri, who was pretty much off the pace in the entire weekend, as we said earlier. So, yeah. Fortunate for me. Other interesting things from the quali itself, actually. Tsunoda got into Q3. Both Astons, I think, went out in Q1. Was it the race or the sprint quali? For the I think it was one.
I'm pretty sure it was the race.
So for the race itself, the quali on Friday, both Astons out in Q1. I think it was alongside both Hasses, so like I don't know, both Williams. One Haas got into Q2. It was Magnussen, I think. Anyway, yeah, Aston upgrades didn't really work out as they thought they would. Obviously, they had to change.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, wasn't it slower than last time?
Yeah, they're pretty much slower than last year as well. I mean, we can say that to most of the recent races. They just go down the order with every upgrade they bring, which is kind of sad. I mean, they started the season with the second best car. Being this far down, like, even when Alonso doesn't get into Q2, you know the car is bad, right?
Like, the upgrades is just extra weight. That's their upgrade.
Yeah. They might as well bring, like, the Canada's spec. Actually, I forgot how to pronounce. Canada's spec car, which would be P2 in the race, I think. Alonso got P2 in front of Hamilton. Yeah, that was a good score between them two. Yeah, that was the last time Alonso got podium on pace. Obviously, he got another podium in Zandvoort, but that was mostly due to the track conditions and stuff, and Mercedes having their strategy team. We're gonna talk about Mercedes strategy as well. That wasn't too good.
Yeah, it was.
Anything else from quali? Did you remember? I want to point out.
Wait, didn't Tsunoda have the fastest lap in quali?
In quali?
Or was it in the race?
It wasn't the race. That was the quali fastest lap in the quali pole position. Which, I mean,
yeah. Yeah, then
The race
wait,
is
I'm
too
yeah,
interesting
I'm
to me.
tired, bro. Just
Yeah, this is fine. Well, let's just continue. Yeah. Moving on to the sprint quali, which happened on Saturday. It was quite a bit earlier than the quali on Friday. Yeah, this one, Max got pole by quite a small margin over. It was it either Charles or Lando in P2 for sprint? Actually, don't remember. I think it was one of them.
I'm pretty
Probably.
sure it was Shaw.
Yeah, it was probably Charles, then Lewis P3, then Lando P4, I think. All were
Yeah, it
separated by
was.
like 1/10 of a second. Really, really close. Really very exciting at the time. Yep. Other than that, from the sprint, quali, I think Albon got in the almost into Q3 or something. I think it was like P3 in SQ1, which is like insane considering Sarda was like in the bottom five.
Yeah,
Then,
it was. It was good to see him do well.
yep. Then we didn't see anything too exciting happen. Then I think, obviously, we got to see the fight for pole position. But other than that, no midfield car suddenly in like P5. Okay, sprint pole, no points for us. Oh, actually, sorry.
Wait, no.
I'm tired as well. Yeah, we all
Yeah.
at the point here. It's Max obviously pole and won the sprint race itself, so another bunch of points. Yep. Sprint race itself, really, really boring. We saw Max win by like 10 seconds ahead of Lewis, which obviously was looking pretty sad for the race itself. We hope, no, we hope, but we thought that Max would win
Gonna be
the race on Sunday as well, pretty comfortably, but turned out to be a really close fight.
Mm.
Anything interesting for the sprint race that you remember?
Well, obviously it was actually like Charles Hamilton. They got second, third, right? And
Yep.
then that must be quite upsetting. Like after and then getting disqualified. But other than that, not much really.
Yeah. Did they get disqualified from the sprint race itself as well? I think they only got disqualified from the race.
Wait, was it just the race?
I think it
I
was
think-
just the race.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure they got the points for sprint, because I would see someone mentioning they got disqualified from the sprint itself, because that would mean Albon got into points in the sprint as well. Okay,
Yeah, good point.
yeah, Albon in P9 in the sprint. That was one of the things to point out, because the Williams didn't really look quick this weekend. So, yeah. Sprint race itself pretty boring, other than a few fights in the midfield that we didn't really see because the race direction was awful. When they showed us like a random car, well, the battle was like fighting behind or whatever. Yep.
Yeah, it was kind of just an average sprint.
Well, considering the season probably below average. We got some
Yeah.
interesting sprints like in Austria and in Qatar. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess we can move on to the race itself, because that's a big talking point, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Starting with the big talking point, disqualification of Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc after a plank dysfunction, or they were like too worn by a few millimeters and therefore not like suitable for technical safety. Or I actually don't know the wording itself too much, but essentially their cars were like illegal by the technical standpoint and therefore disqualified from the race, even though they only checked 4 cars from the grid, and those were, I think, Charles, Lewis, Lando, and Max, which indicates that maybe even Sainz and George had similar kind of problem and they didn't even check their cars. Like, how fair
Yeah, that's
that
what I
is.
was thinking. Cause like, I don't understand it, but I don't think they should have got disqualified.
Yeah, I mean, if they checking like 4 cars, I get it. They probably cannot check every single car every weekend for their technical legality, but if they're checking like 4 cars, at least speak the same team. Because if you know Hamilton or and Leclerc, they're got disqualified, obviously. There's a really big chance that Sainz and Russell would get disqualified as well. That way,
Yeah.
it would be like
Mm.
Perez on the podium or something wild like that.
Yeah, it was weird to say the least. But like it was kind of ironic. Hamilton really wanted to like change the rules to make the cars more equal, and then his car got disqualified. But
Yeah. Yeah, very unfortunate for both of them. I think both of them had really tough weekends to swallow up the disqualification because obviously Hamilton, in my opinion, the fastest driver this weekend, almost got won. Like obviously it was held up by the strategy. I have no idea what Mercedes was thinking where they just what was the strategy this weekend? I actually don't understand anything about it. They just try to
I
constantly
didn't
switch
really
between
like pay attention to Mercedes, but it kind of I don't even know. It was just kind of hectic, but I'm not too sure. Probably Ajax probably knows more about the strategy than I do.
Yeah, might as well ask him the predictions ourselves. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't really get to. I didn't get to have both of you on the same stream anymore because it's time zone and stuff. Obviously, I'm busy as well a lot of the time, so can't like have it on the. If there's like a time that you both can make it, maybe even I cannot make it, which makes it even more difficult. It's like difficult to have 3 people at once. Now, well, thankfully, I can have at least one of you for each stream, which is helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the topic. Mercedes. Yep, the strategy was like top tier Ferrari strategy at this point. Even the Ferrari strategy had Ferrari strategy with Leclerc, like going for a one stop on a track that the worst tires in the Ferrari. That was just pure Ferrari.
Yeah, I know you said Hamilton had like, in your opinion, the best pace, but I would like argue that Leclerc could be like, I would say equal to Hamilton over this week because like Leclerc did really well. Of course, Ferrari strategy I would say was actually better than Mercedes because it was just more effective, but Hamilton and Leclerc both did insane. No one expected them to both get podium over like Verstappen, but they did it, so that was pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Charles had a lot of pace this weekend. Unfortunately, I don't think his car was really that able to fight for the win itself. I think he could have gotten a podium with a better strategy, but yeah, I think he was pretty much outside of it. Like that chance of a win was like not really within a touching distance ever since we saw the sprint, because obviously we saw Charles on the same tires as everyone else being so much slower because of the degradation. I know that Charles may have gotten a P3 probably with better strategy, but still very difficult to tell. Honestly, I don't feel like he would have gotten a podium either. I think it was a P4 out of Sainz. I think with Sainz we saw what Ferrari could have done. Obviously, Leclerc was ahead of Sainz and a tiny bit faster, so probably somewhere around Norris. It would be like pretty close in my opinion.
Yeah, it would be. I agree.
All right. Okay. We got over the disqualification. We can go down to the race order itself. The renewed race order. Obviously, Max won even before the disqualifications, because like imagine Lewis would have won the race and then got disqualified. Like, that would be insane.
He would be mad.
Oh my god, I would we would just see like the entire social medias and everything that just blew up. That would be like another Abu Dhabi 2021 level thing probably. Because imagine being a Lewis fan and seeing like Lewis get disqualified and Max winning the race. Like, oh my god, that would be crazy. Yep. P1 Max, we all get a point. Okay. This is where, obviously Hamilton got P2 in the real one, but even though you would get the point for the real, like not real, before the disqualifications, you would get a point for Norris.
Mm.
And unfortunately, I'm sorry, but Norris got P2
Yeah.
because of the disqualification. Which is just really, really unlucky for you. Because like, even in quali and in the race, you got some really bad luck. Just unfortunate.
Yeah.
You got a Piastri here. Obviously, got the DNF due to the contact with Ocon on the lap 1. Ocon DNF as well, so it was a mutual contact DNF, whatever. Probably on Ocon's fault mostly. For the incident, I think I only saw it once. It was like a really unfortunate incident that hurt both of those race.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to see McLaren get more points this race.
Yeah. Very unfortunate, because I think McLaren could have fought for Ferrari for P3, but now it looks like Ferrari probably has it safely in their hands. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's
we
not
got
that
some
many races left.
we got some like different tracks where we could see like Mercedes or McLaren being really, really quick. I just don't think I feel like Ferrari will lose that many points to McLaren.
If McLaren gets both podiums every time, and like the Ferraris are 7th, 8th or something, then it can happen, but it does not look like that's gonna happen.
Yeah. We have Mexico this weekend, then it's Brazil next weekend, so it's triple header. Then we have like a 2-week break, and then into the Las Vegas, which obviously brings a lot of hype, even though I'm like not really too hyped about it, but some people might be. And then we got Abu Dhabi, so 4 races left. Okay. Piastri, that's no points for you. Into P3. P3 in before the disqualifications was Lando Norris, obviously. After disqualifications is Carlos Sainz, who none of us put in, so no points for either of us. Unfortunately for you, no point for you. Yep. Actually, we can talk about Sainz this weekend. Another podium that came from after the race.
Disqualifications.
Yeah, like we saw Sainz get like a 3rd podium after the podium happened. Basically, he got 3 podiums without being on the podium, which is like pretty crazy when I think about it. Yeah, it happened again. Yeah, Ferraris didn't really seem too strong in the race pace. I think Sainz would never get up the podium. Charles had a slight chance, but yeah, that was a lucky podium from Sainz. Yep. Oh, kind of going.
Yeah, Sainz, I feel like, just had an average race overall. He didn't do great, he didn't do bad, but of course, like the Ferraris, it's a good car. He's a good driver, so P5 was kind of expected. But then obviously disqualification, so he got a podium, which I'm sure he's very happy about.
Yeah, definitely he has to be happy with the podium in such a scenario. Yeah, probably I don't know, his luckiest podium of the season. Obviously, only got 3, which one was Monza, where Charles was. Well, they were fighting for the final podium spot for like the last 10 laps, and then obviously the Singapore win. So yeah, that was his 3rd podium of the season. Yeah, pretty lucky, but good race from Sainz. Like, even to get a podium like this, you still have to be up there, like in P5, P4, whatever region to get the podium. So good for him. Yep. P4, which before disqualifications was Sainz, and after was Perez. So that was a good point.
Wait, I thought Sainz came P5.
No, Perez came P5.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, you would get another point here if the disqualification didn't happen.
Oh my god,
Wait.
bro, I'm so tired. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah, basically you lost 3 points because of FIA this weekend.
No. I'm getting nothing.
Yeah, so
All I got was the first stop and those are free.
I'm very sorry for you, but no points for you. We both went with Russell, and no points for either of us as well, because George Russell was really slow this weekend for some reason. So I can't really understand why was that a thing, but yeah. Okay, moving down to the grid, P6 from like before. I'm not going to talk about disqualifications anymore. Just after. Okay, so P6 in reality, Pierre Gasly having a really good race from him, qualified in like P8 and got P6 in the end thanks to drivers ahead of him disqualified. Really good from him to get P6 in an Alpine.
Yeah, that is pretty insane. Like, I didn't expect that to happen.
Yep, good race for Pierre. He moves to the P10 in the standings ahead of Stroll, who also scored some points in P7 from a pit lane start as well. That's a pretty decent result from Lance Stroll.
I mean, like, Stroll hasn't been doing the best this season, so, like, that was pretty good for him.
Yep. I would say it was one of his best results. I know results, but one of his best performances this season, considering how good the car was at the start of the season and how it is now. Obviously, only Stroll ran the new floor in the race itself, and Alonso was still faster. So I don't really know if that was due to the upgrades or Stroll being good. I mean, if Stroll was actually matching McLaren pace according to the data, maybe the floor worked, but yeah, they still gotta work on the upgrades, the Aston. So yeah, perhaps Aston can return to form, whatever. We'll
I think
to see.
I think Aston should just get their car ready for the next season.
Yeah, that's what Red Bull and Ferrari already did. Basically, they moved all their focus to next season. Mercedes is doing kind of the same thing. Like, they basically brought in this final upgrade that's supposed to like indicate how the next year's car is gonna work. And I gotta say, if the next year's car is better than the upgrade they brought here, which basically made him de facto the fastest car. I mean, it's really close. We could say Max was probably faster, maybe. Even Charles had some quite good moments. Even Norris was leading half the race. Like, yeah. But if these upgrades work even better next season, we could see Hamilton challenge for a title again, which would be very interesting.
Yeah, we could. I mean, if Red Bull's upgrades aren't that insane, then we could see that.
Yeah.
Or maybe we could even see like a McLaren driver.
Yeah, this makes me kind of excited for next season. Obviously,
Yeah.
we arrive in Bahrain and Verstappen wins, gets pulled by half a second and wins by 30 seconds.
Watch just like Red Bull's upgrades be so insane that there's no point.
Yeah, I just hope we get some actual competition next season from race 1. Because, we finally got to the point of the season where teams can actually challenge Red Bull on pace. But at the start of the season, Red Bull was won by over half a minute. Considering, if we have started in like this pecking order, imagine the cars right now, like how fast they are. Imagine we would start a season in Bahrain right now. That would be much more interesting season.
I I just want to see McLaren start with a top car. That would be cool.
Yeah, definitely. I really hope that something like that happens. Obviously, I saw what can happen if a McLaren is really, really good in my simulation, but yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be like that extreme. So far,
And I mean,
can.
like, McLaren's drivers are some of the best too.
Yep. So far, I can give you a little spoiler. I simulated 14 races already in the next season, considering Perez and Sargent would be retained for next season. Obviously, if that's going to change, I'm going to start a new simulation. But 14 races done so far. McLaren have won all of them, literally all of them. 14 races in a row.
Oh,
Yep, and the only teams who got poles other than them was Max in race 1, I think, in Bahrain, and Lewis and Wet Canadian race, which was he got pole and didn't even get to the podiums, which average Hamilton the race like.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. I guess we can move on to do next one, who is after Stroll. Yuki Tsunoda, P8 with the fastest lap. That was a really great performance.
Yeah, that was insane. In an AlphaTauri too. That's pretty good.
We also saw the return of Daniel Ricciardo this weekend. Obviously, does have a tough time adapting to the car again, missing like 5 races. Obviously, it's probably gonna take him a while to get up to the speed again, because we saw like whenever he returned after this race, like he has the pace, but he still has to like well get warmed up physically as well, because after such a difficult recovery, I'm sure it's really difficult for him to get up to speed as quickly as possible. Yeah, AlphaTauri is also a pretty strong car right now, so maybe we could see Ricardo points in the upcoming races, hopefully.
Yeah, we're gonna see a Ricardo pole next time.
Imagine, that would be great. Okay, next up we have the 2 Williams drivers who inherited P9 and P10 thanks to disqualifications, so well done Logan Sargent for first point at Formula 1.
And in the US too, it's pretty fitting.
Yeah,
in his own country.
Look at my extra roll prediction. I almost went with Sargent does well, which would give me the point in this case, but I went with a little too much of a hopium thing with Sargent qualifying Albon, which didn't happen. But he almost beat him in the race itself. Like he was in the final like classification, it was like 1.2 seconds behind Albon, thanks to the track limit penalty Albon had. So yeah, almost.
Yeah, it was close.
Yep. And we have Haas of Nico Hulkenberg in P11 from a pit lane start as well. Pretty good. Even though the Haas upgrades didn't really work out, I think they're pretty much where they left off. But yeah, we'll get to see the full potential.
Yeah, there's not much of a change there, but like, I mean, they're not like below expectations.
I mean, were there any expectations for Haas? Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
Like, we know they basically brought the Red Bull / McLaren hybrid or whatever, and they basically just went the opposite way in the pecking order. Somehow they just become even slower. Thankfully, the Alfa Romeos were like super slow during the race, so they actually could fight someone. But yeah, not really hopeful for Haas. They're pretty much the slowest car unless someone other screws up too much.
As long as Hamilton and Leclerc keep getting disqualified, maybe they could score some points.
Perhaps. I mean, P11 is pretty close, considering like Hulkenberg was really close to Sargent in the end. It was like a couple of seconds. So it'll be interesting to see Hulkenberg get scoring points from a pit lane start. Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
And American Grand Prix as well. But I'm really happy for Sargent. Honestly, probably more happy for Sargent than I would be for Hulkenberg getting a point, because Obviously,
Same.
even though I'm a really big Hulkenberg fan, I just don't feel like getting excited from a point like from P10. I'm used
Yeah,
to
it's like
him. Yep.
Sargent, it's his rookie season and his home country. It was just fitting that he gets his first points there.
Yep. Well, has his American team as well, but obviously, I mean, yeah, they had the US flag thing on the side pods as Red Bull. Williams had the American flag on the next to the rear wing. Yeah, not really hopeful for Haas next season either, because there's basically what they said is that if these upgrades don't work, then the next season is compromised, and exactly what happened. And even though I see my favorite driver in F1 next season, I'm not really excited for it as much as I should be. So yeah.
Yeah, Haas need some insane upgrades, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do that for the next season.
Okay, we can move on to the rest, because obviously we talked about. Oh yeah, we forgot to mention Alonso DNF due to
Yeah.
what was it? I think it was a gearbox issue or a suspension issue. Something broke on his car.
Something with his car, but
yeah.
It's just sad seeing Alonso DNF.
Yeah, he was really doing really well in the race. From a pit lane start, he was in P6 area. Obviously if he would have stayed in the race, he would probably ahead of Gasly, which would mean P6. P6 from a pit lane start in an Aston that got out in Q1. I think that would be a pretty good performance, but obviously Alonso with Alonso luck. That's just too iconic.
Yeah, it's I want to see him get more podiums before the season ends, but with the car that Aston has right now and Alonso's very bad luck, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, really unfortunate. I think that summed up the entire race. I think, are there any other things we to talk about?
Not really, no.
Obviously, we had Norris leading half the race, then the final fight between Max and Lewis, which ended up not happening because Mercedes had to screw up all the strategy and all the pit stops in order to leave Hamilton 1.5 seconds behind Max in the end. Imagine one pit stop being actually good. They could have actually fought on the last lap, such a annoying thing, but obviously we got Hamilton disqualified anyway, so probably would be even more.
Didn't matter at the end.
Yep, probably would be even more frustrating for Lewis fans, and this means probably HX because he's a really big Mercedes fan. So yeah, I cannot imagine what he would feel like seeing Hamilton get disqualified from a win.
I can't imagine what Hamilton would be like if that happened to you.
Yeah, I imagine getting a win for the first time since basically getting
90. When was it?
It was Saudi 21, the race before Abu Dhabi, because Abu Dhabi obviously ended up in Max winning on the last lap. So basically that will be his first win in 2 years. So
yeah, and then if he got disqualified there, you would be really mad.
Yep. I talked about it with my friends. They're a really big Mercedes and Hamilton fan. Basically, what they said in the morning, because I woke up, I didn't know about the news that happened at 4 a.m. for me. So I woke up to all the news, all the messages. That, oh my god! I talked about him. What would happen if Lewis would have won and actually got disqualified? He probably would have committed something really unhealthy for his life. So thankfully it didn't happen. Okay, so
yeah, something that's not recommended by doctors.
Yep, and not recommended by anyone, at least anyone sane. enough. Yep. Okay, I think I was cleaning my keyboard and I accidentally typed something. Okay. Most impressive driver. I think we pretty much can agree on none of these being the most impressive driver.
Yeah. I think I'd have to give it. I don't even know. I think I'd give it to Sonoda, like, not by much, because that fastest lap was pretty insane.
Yep. For me, it would be probably between Tsunoda, Hamilton, maybe even Lando, but I don't know.
I don't think Hamilton or Lando can be considered. It's like at the end of the day, Hamilton's still a 7-time world champion.
Yeah, but when I look at the gaps Lewis and Lando had over their teammates, like they seemed like having such an advantage in pace over teammates they know, like we know they can be beaten by. That's
Yeah.
I think that's pretty impressive.
I think on Hamilton's side that was pretty impressive, but for Norris being so far ahead of Piastri was kind of expected with Piastri's car acting up.
Oh, it's the Piastri had damage, but in quali it was the same. Like Norris had a really big advantage over Piastri in the quali as well.
Yeah, it was pretty large.
Okay. Indiana probably would give it to Tsunoda, just because he's AlphaTauri is 10th in the standings, dead last with like 10 points thanks to his 5 points from the US Grand Prix. So thanks to his
He just got all of the points they made so far this season in that one race.
Yep. Thankfully, they got back to the fight for P8, I think it is, because P7 is Williams with now a bigger advantage because of the double points. Even Sargent contributing to the points Williams have finally. Yeah. Yeah, that's it for the most impressive driver. For the least impressive driver, mine isn't really finished, not gonna lie. Sainz, I think, had a pretty average race. Not really the least impressive. I think none of us get the point here.
Yeah, none of us do.
Who would it be for your least impressive driver?
Let me think about that. That's... off of just... I'd have to go Russell, actually. George Russell.
Yeah, that would be my pick as well. I think Russell had a really, really bad weekend, considering where Hamilton was. Like, Hamilton was basically fighting for P1 in every single session, and Russell was just down in like P8. Getting a lot of penalties as well. I think he was...
The Mercedes was really good too, so like, he should have been able to get at least top 5 there.
Yep. And he was also lucky to not get disqualified because obviously his car was not checked at all.
Yeah, they should have just checked Russell first. Just let Hamilton have his P2.
I'm really, really sad about Hamilton because imagine driving such a race, almost winning from Max Verstappen, who's like won every single race this season apart from like 3, and getting disqualified from P2. That must have been so difficult.
Yeah, and plus the fact he would have won anyway if his team was just not like throwing. They were just their strategy was bad, their pit stops were bad. He could have won that pretty easily, but it's just how it works, I guess.
Yeah. I'm not really satisfied with Mercedes this weekend. I think they missed a lot of opportunities. I think the only working thing that weekend was Hamilton. Unfortunately, not really.
That one time he's like doing insane this season, he gets disqualified. It's just.
Yep. Team was not really working. Like the strategy team was, strategy team was being Ferrari. The technical team, obviously, they got disqualified. So, I mean, what the worst thing can happen? And obviously, his teammate was, not really quick. So, obviously, Hamilton was the only working thing in Mercedes the entire weekend. So, yeah. Okay. We talk about Sainz, but we haven't talked about Leclerc too much. He got pole position in Ferraris. Like he's like 22nd pole, I think, and another Leclerc pole to Max Verstappen win. I think that statistic is like pretty insane right now. I think Max got like 7 wins from Leclerc poles at this point.
Yeah, it's insane. Like Leclerc, it must suck. Like he could have gotten his like the second win for Ferrari here this season. Imagine like the only two people other than Red Bull to win were two Ferraris, but of course, just it's Hamilton. He was disqualified.
We also have Piastri winning in Qatar, but that was a sprint race only, so.
Yeah, I guess if you count that though.
Yeah, I didn't hear what was the last thing you said. Sorry.
I said if you count the sprints, then yeah, Piastri too.
Okay. Oh, sorry. My sister entered my room. I had to answer. Okay, my apologies. Okay. Leclerc from Ferrari's point of view, I think Leclerc could be looking for a move out of the team because I think it was like one of his exit clauses in his contract that if Ferrari finishes behind McLaren this season, maybe he can use his exit clause to look for another seat, mainly Red Bull. I think that's the most realistic option for him because I don't think he would go to like Williams. Yep, I would really love to see Leclerc in the Red Bull.
Imagine Leclerc Verstappen.
I would love that. Like
they would get first, second every race.
Yeah, I would love that. Like dynamic and fighting and everything. That would just be so amazing. And unfortunately, yeah, as long as we have Leclerc stuck in the Ferrari, he's not gonna win a championship anytime soon. I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, Ferraris. There's never, at least in these times, Ferrari, a driver's not going to win the championship at all. There's no chance.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the most impressive team. Obviously, Haas upgrades didn't work, even though they got P11 in the race. That was mostly due to the disqualifications. The car is slow as it's been the entire season, so nothing really to say. Not the most impressive team by any stretch of the imagination. McLaren, decent race, but not the most impressive team either, because obviously Piastri was nowhere, and not Lando. Well, he's just doing Lando things at this point, just getting P3s randomly.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's good to see that he's doing well at least, but I think it was pretty expected.
Yep, for the most impressive team this weekend, honestly, I would just pick AlphaTauri just because the Tsunoda, the Tsunoda 5 points, but also they put Ricciardo on a one stop, which was the only other driver who was on one stop other than Ricciardo was Leclerc, and we know, well, Ferrari strategy was happening to Ricciardo as well, so I don't really know if I would give that to AlphaTauri that reason. I'm gonna have this weird pick, but I'm gonna pick Williams in this case, just because they showed pretty much no pace the entire weekend apart from the random Albon P3 and SQ1. Basically, they were like the third or second slowest team this weekend, and they got double points. Like getting double points even with Sargent, so I think that was pretty impressive. And
yeah, that is pretty good.
And if in the sprint, Albon P9, if anything above would happen, any crash, any DNF technical issues, whatever, Albon would get points in both the races, which would be very important for him the championship as well. So yeah, my pick is Williams, even though they as a car, Williams wasn't strong, but the driver pairing worked this weekend, and as a driver pairing, they did really well. So that would be my pick. What's yours? Honestly, yeah. I'm really curious. Like, what would you pick?
I mean, this is tough. Uh, by driver's point of view, I'd go Williams, but like placements, of course, Red Bull. Perez didn't do as bad as he usually does. But then again, that's kind of expected from Red Bull, and Perez was just being the unexpected for the last few races, so I'd agree with you and say Williams.
Yeah. I guess the last option would be like Alpine, but I mean, if Ocon wouldn't crash with PS3 to start, they would basically get like a P6 and P7 with both of their cars getting in Q3 in both sessions. I think like both qualifying sessions. I think Alpine was really quick this weekend. They need some recognition for their efforts, even though they didn't get as many points. Even though P6 is a lot of points for a sixth fastest team over the season, but still. Yeah, I just wanted to say good job Alpine, even though only one driver in the points.
Yeah, that's pretty fair too. But like none of us got those, so
Yep, no points for most impressive team for either of us. For the least impressive team though,
no,
Ferrari is a really good pick, but there's also Aston. There's also
I don't
Haas.
think Ferrari is a good pick at all.
Yeah, there's obviously Alfa Romeo as well. AlphaTauri, just because of Tsunoda, I would not really consider that an option. Red Bull, I mean, they weren't as quick as they normally are, considering the entire field was really close to them, but still, they won the race. They got Perez in P4 somehow, even. I think that was a good race from Red Bull. Mercedes, obviously, I think they're one of the worst teams this weekend, considering just how quick their car was. I think they didn't really use the potential to the fullest, just like in Qatar. So they're a solid pick. Aston, I mean, that car is just, I don't know. Well, what are they doing to the car that was second fastest at the start of the season? I'll never understand. Ferrari is just Ferrari. McLaren, I mean, they maximize their weekends with Norris PS3, unfortunately with damage in the races and slow in quality. I think McLaren did alright. Alpine talked about them. Williams talked about it as well. Haas, I think Haas is a good pick for the least impressive team. Just how much of a hype their upgrades brought, but they just went even slower.
I mean, you said that Ferrari and Mercedes could be good picks for least impressive, but I think like that I couldn't consider either of them. I would consider those two like one of the most impressive, because without the disqualifications, Hamilton did insane. Sainz did average, but still got P4 without disqualifications. Leclerc, top 3 with Hamilton, second, third. So I don't think you could consider Ferrari at least as a bad team, both getting top 5. So
yeah, I'm not really picking up Ferrari itself. Obviously, they got a quick car in quali, not really as much in the race, and they screwed up Leclerc's strategy. That's true. They obviously made Leclerc DNF out of DSQ. So that's the only thing I can say of Ferrari. But Ferrari's like doing these things with strategy and stuff every single race at this point, so not too unusual. But when it comes to Mercedes, I think considering how quick their car was, getting like a couple of points from the race, sprint was like good, but not as impressive. I don't know. Mercedes would be my next pick after Haas and Alfa Romeo, but also we have Alfa and Haas getting like P11, P12, P13, and P14 respectively as the two slowest cars on the grid. That's also like hard to tell. I cannot find anyone else but Mercedes to get this like
the least impressive.
Yeah, if the Haas does like a Haas argument with the upgrades, the hype the upgrades brought, and wouldn't be enough, I think Mercedes would be my second option.
I don't know. I'd say Haas is less impressive than Mercedes, because like Hamilton went off. I'd argue Hamilton was driver of the race, not driver of the day. Of course,
I would
was
say
Norris,
drive of the
but
weekend, but I get
yeah,
you what you mean.
yeah. But like Hamilton alone, I feel like even though Russell didn't do too great, it was good enough to put Mercedes like, it was a decent performance, even though they didn't get much points from it because disqualification.
Yep. Well, some of my argument is Mercedes not using their potential enough, but Haas, on the other hand, they didn't seem to have any potential at all, considering just how much different their car is. So yeah, either Haas or Mercedes, either way, we don't get any points.
Yeah,
yeah.
No one gets anything.
Yeah, that's unfortunately. When it comes to the extra bold prediction, I mean, mine. Yeah, I should have said Sargent as well. Again, I think I used it once. I think I did it for Belgium, and if I used it for this race, maybe I could argue with you. I mean, would you give me the point if Sargent first point? Does it count?
I mean, like it says out qualifies, so.
I mean, imagine I would put Sargent scores points. That would be the ultimate prediction. But yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would be, but I don't think. I don't think you can get that because he didn't out qualify him.
Yeah, obviously I'm not getting the point, but imagine I would put Sargent as well, like the wording Sargent as well as I use in Belgium. We can scroll up to see if you want, but obviously if we're like how well does he need to do in order to get that point in that situation? He basically didn't do well ever since like the Saudi Arabia race where he basically got into like Q2, out-qualified Albon before getting his lap time deleted. That was like he was doing well at the start of the season, but then just went nowhere and returned for his own race. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to Verstappen Grand Slam, obviously not really happening. He didn't get pole position. He didn't lead every lap, and he didn't even get the fastest lap. So no way.
Yeah, this is not and then Russell DNF. Like it was close, but still no.
I mean, even if Hamilton would, even if you would say Hamilton DNF, it's not a DNF, it's a DSQ. Like that wouldn't count, right?
Yeah, it doesn't count.
Because he did finish, it's just not classified because of this. Yep, no points for you as well. Okay, when it comes to the points themselves, I think you should have scored twice the points you actually scored, but you're really
the disqualification screwed me over.
Yeah, when it comes to the disqualifications or the FI in general, I think I profited the most, getting a 3 points ahead of AJX somehow. I can actually count the points. I think I got 7 in total. So,
yeah, you got 7. You got mine plus AJX's.
Yeah, I actually.
Wait,
what's it count only 6? Oh, it's
Wait, that means you have the most points scored on Grand Prix. Wait, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, 7.
Is it not 7? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 7. I broke AJ's record from Belgium and Japan. That's good. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let me add the points into the thing. Okay, USGP 7 points, so I'm on 33. I'm only 2 points behind AJX. I mean, this is
I'm
doable.
catching up, trust me.
Yeah, I think you even went below your average. You were like really close to me, but yeah, the last 2 races weren't good for you, unfortunately.
Yeah. And I would have gotten 6+, but the stupid FIA.
Yeah, FI doing FI things. Okay, the high score, I lead the high score now, which is
Yeah.
was a positive. 2 points behind AJX. Unfortunately, you started 3 eliminations left. When it comes to if you would get your average, which is 2.8, let me have it. You would be at 25.4 points. So basically, you're not doing too well, but I'm sure you can do well in the next 4 races.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll just get 12 points per race, I guess. I guess I'm gonna have to.
I gotta copy the Japanese menu, so I don't forget. So maybe if someone's busy, they can, if they're missing this prediction stream, they can type in points. So just fill this out quickly. Says regardless of Lawson. All of this gone. Black to black. Okay, this is how do they call it? Mexican Grand Prix. Okay, it's ready for next time. We're doing predictions with Ajax, I think, on Thursday. So
Yeah.
if you know, I mean, if you find out you're available at the time, obviously Saturday you're not, but if you find out you are, you're always invited to the stream. You will be very much welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we can wrap it up. Obviously, I'm gonna add scoring as well for the Sahwgunn GP, so already up. Should probably do Mexican. Okay, it's done this stuff. Everything's ready for next week. Okay, good. I'm really happy with the stream. We did it in 1 hour, which is something unexpected considering how interesting this weekend was. Thank you for coming to the stream. Really happy we did this stream because obviously my announcement is early this morning. And that I'm returning to daily content. And tomorrow I'm planning to upload the results of the MCC Twitch Rivals that I still haven't watched this day, and Twitch live stream on Twitch, play with some people who might be online at the time. So okay, that'd be interesting. Okay, I think I can close the stream now. Thanks everyone who watched this live or watched this after the stream ended. I very much appreciate all of you, and see you next time. Bye.
Yeah, goodbye.